Alright, welcome everyone. My name is K. Michael Russell. I am a comic book colorist, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, can you guys tell I'm in 1080p now on the webcam? I was on the wrong setting. I was in 720. Can't believe it. I want to do a quick video to talk about technical coloring methods because I've gotten several questions lately asking about why I changed my method or why I used a certain method on a certain piece or things like that. And honestly, I think, especially for new colors, I think a lot of people are getting too caught up in technical stuff when it comes to Photoshop. Nolan Woodard actually told me recently, and it made a lot of sense. He said there's as many ways to color as there are colorists. That's a lot. And if you're relatively new to the channel, you probably don't even know what people are talking about. But recently, I've started more and more using a different coloring method than I did in the past. I still use the old method sometimes, and I get people asking, is one better than the other, that kind of thing. It really totally depends on you, and I know there are people here that would think that sounds too simplistic, or that I'm just trying to make people feel better about the way they're coloring or whatever it is, and it honestly doesn't matter. There's a lot of debates, not really debates, but even among pro colorists about, whether even big things like RGB or CMYK, like which one you should be working in. There are people that are pro colorists that work in RGB, and there are pro colorists that work in CMYK. There's a lot of both. I got into a discussion on Twitter about that last week, and it was just funny because you would have these amazing, colorists that have entirely different methods of working. And like I brought up just a couple examples real quick. Just so like Matt Wilson, for example, colors in CMYK, and on very few layers. He does most of his coloring on just one main layer. Marta Gracia does the same thing. The vast majority of his rendering is on one layer. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, like Tamer Bonvillain, colors in RGB, like I do most of the time, and works on a billion layers. And they're nested and layered and clipping mask and all sorts of craziness going on. But it works. It works for her. And so if there's not a consensus between even working professionals, and these are both colorists that work for all the largest companies, your Marvels and DCs and all those sort of things. And so there's not a consensus on their part about the best way to do something, then it's not something that's worth worrying about. Whether you're coloring on one layer or, I even have bullet points this time. I never have notes. And the same thing applies for styles. Looking at Matt's work, there's stuff he's done on Thor that's like pretty painty and very painterly, as I guess as they call it. And then you've got stuff. Is there any Hawkeye in here? Here's some. It's just it's just dead flat. Like there's no rendering, period. Same guy, different needs. The stories had different needs. His work on Black Widow is pretty flat. There's a little bit of rendering in it, but again, this is one guy doing 2 or 3 totally different things depending on what the needs of the art is or what the story is. And so when people ask me, what's best or what do you like working in the most, or practice everything. You guys have seen enough videos of mine lately to know that I like to experiment, especially with kind of one-off gigs that are covers and pinups and stuff I just do for fun. Like I'm even though I've been doing this 6 years at this point almost, I'm still learning all the time, and you'll never stop. Even if I'm doing this 10 years from now, I'm still going to be learning new stuff. So my ultimate point here, if I haven't made that clear enough, is do you, okay? Do what works best for you. And if that's a simple style, and for a lot of beginner colorists, I know I have a lot of beginner colorists watching this channel, start simple. Don't look at a video I'm working on where you see 20 layers and get overwhelmed that, oh my god, I've got to figure out these 20 layers. No, you don't. Inks on top in multiply mode, color underneath. Like, if you can do that, that's all you have to do to be a colorist, really. At least to get the basics down. So anyway, I know this is sort of a random video, but I wanted to get this out there, and so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions about any of this stuff, feel free to use the comments and ask those, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.